Out these three fundamental drivers, which are basically the cost factors, that is really important. And whenever we are planning to use the cloud services, we should start early with cost optimization, right? I think everyone agrees with that. It's not like we have completely migrated to the cloud and now we are thinking of cost optimization. So that should start very early when we are thinking about the services. So like trade fixed expenses for variable expenses. Here fixed expenses would be like when we are using our own data centers, we are operating the data centers, we are maintaining those physical servers, hiring the staff for it, and then allocating a room to place those servers. So that kind of fixed expenses can be can be replaced with the variable expenses when we are using the cloud, right? Because it's all about their pay as per usage and then how we consume it. Then another principle here is maximize the power of flexibility, and that is absolutely right. So because AWS, it provides you on-demand services, and it also provides the services like auto scaling, scaling up, scaling down. So it's totally flexible, completely independent when we talk about these services, and transparent as well. So that is another principle which actually helps in the cost optimization, because we can just choose whatever we need as per the requirement. And then using the right pricing model for the job. So based on our situation, we can think of different pricing models like on-demand instances or the saving plans or the spot instances or reservations. So we would check into these pricing models in the further slides in detail. So let's find out different pricing models, and I think you all are already familiar with these pricing models, so it's not a completely new thing for you. Now, there are three pricing models which are shown here: on demand, reserved, and spot. So on demand is used where we have a kind of unpredictable workloads, right? Or the high peak workloads which are for the very short time. In those cases, we go for on demand. So short term, spiky workloads, unpredictable, and then it's also about like no commitments are needed because even we are not sure for how long we need those resources. So there is no commitment, no minimum payment that we do, and then no upfront payment. So that is all about the on demand. So for testing purpose, where we need the servers for the very short time, that is one use case for having the on demand instances, right? But if you need for the long time, then there is no purpose of using on demand because that would be high in cost. Next, we have the reserved. So reserved instances, they are actually helpful when we have a steady workload. When when we have a complete visibility, like yeah, I need 5 servers around the year. In that case, we go for the reserved instances that give us a heavy discount of up to 72%. And in reserved instances or reserved pricing models, we have different options like no upfront payment or partial upfront or full upfront. So based upon which category we are using, we the discounts varies, right? So no upfront means we are not paying anything in the beginning or in the middle, but everything in the end, and that gives up to 54% of discount. Whereas the other options, like when we have the partial upfront or the full upfront, in those cases, we are either paying everything in the beginning or in between the partial installments, and that gives us more discount. So I hope this is clear about the reserved. So actually, we reserve the capacity here, and reservation also comes with some advantage, right? Like when you book a hotel for vacation, and it's like if you are booking it like 4 months in advance because you're reserving it in 4 months advance, you get discount, right? But the other case, if you are booking your hotel just a week before your vacation, then you're going to pay the heavy amount. So same thing happens with the reserved instances here. And the last one shown here is the spot. So spot instances are used for the workloads or for the applications which have flexible start and end times, which can stop and start again for those kind of workloads. Like maybe you have 1,000 images to process, and it doesn't matter if after 200 images the application stop and then maybe start again after a couple of hours. So in those cases where we have kind of batch processing, we go for spot instances. Now spot instances are a kind of ideal capacity available in AWS data centers, ideal servers basically, which are sitting idle. um, they are allotted on some bidding amount, and like if your amount is a little higher than the other customers, then you would get advantage of getting those servers, right? But if like the on demand comes on those servers which you are using, then those instances would be taken back from you with a given period of 2 minutes. And within those 2 minutes, maybe you can take a backup, you can create some snapshots. So that is a disadvantage. So for the cases where we have flexible kind of workloads, we go for spot instances, which can be interrupted. Also, there is one option in the spot where now we can actually choose number of hours. Like we can book it for 6 hours completely. So then it won't get interrupted between those 6 hours. Those options have come later, but initially it was not there in spot instances. Any questions till now? I assume no questions. All good. Next is about comparing pricing by service. So here we have the services and how the pricing factor works. Like for EC2 RDS instances, it is like pay per hour usage, right? But in instances, we have another case also where we have the pay per second, like the Linux instances. Then we have S3 EAFS and Lambda. So these are basically on storage as well, because elastic file storage and then simple storage service, these are mainly for the storage, and also for how much we are consuming, how much storage we are consuming, and then for how long it is running. So like if you think of Lambda, it's not like pay per hour, but the but the time for which the Lambda is running, we are going to pay for that. Now, on-demand pay-per usage is for most of the services, right? It is available every time. So based on on-demand, we are paying and using and paying it. Reserved one where we get the discounts, but we commit for it, like for 1 year or 3 year. And then another is the spot, which is like the spare capacity. So again, in terms of EC to spot instances, this is another pricing. So these are the different pricing factors or considerations, how the services are built. Now, based on that, we are going to check in detail few of the services for the pricing model. So this one is showing for the S3. This particular, one second, yeah. So this particular service is showing for S3, but this is not like the latest one. Anyways, these figures are never asked, right? In the exam or maybe in interviews also. Nobody expects you um, uh, to have figures. Okay. Let's see here. S3 standard. So it is about like first 50 terabytes per month. Okay, this is for the frequently access data, which is like the general purpose storage part. And then they have given here, if we are increasing the amount of storage, the price is decreasing. That is the economies of scale, right? In AWS. So the more we are using, the more discount we are getting. Intelligent tiering, here we have a kind of frequent access, and as well as like it keeps on switching. So based on that, the pricing factor would be there, if it is the frequent or the infrequent. Based on that, we have the different prices here. And then we have some monitoring fees also, because in case of intelligent tiering, it uses machine learning algorithms and it analyzes the data access patterns. So we have some monitoring fees for that. Then infrequent access, of course, it is lesser than the standard. It is like you can compare 0.0125 and then here it is 0.023. So this is lesser than the standard storage. And then one zone is even lesser. So all these prices we can check here, but no need to remember all these. One good point which actually is not mentioned here, we should know that where all actually we are not getting billed. If we talk about the storage part or in terms of S3. So like if we think of the data transfer, so there are some cases where we are not billed, and such questions are specifically asked. So let me, one second. I can share the other window, or just 1 minute. entire screen. Let me pull this tab. Yeah, so you should also know when we are not charged. This is really important to note down. So you pay for all bandwidth in and out of S3 except the following. So these are actually the bullet points when you are not charged, when we are using S3. So data transferred out to the internet for the first 100 GB per month. So it's about like retrieving the data, right, out to the internet. Um, except this China and government cloud. It is for the first 100 GB free. Then we have data transferred in from the internet. So whenever we are transferring data in, it means to the AWS cloud, the data transfer cost is zero. There is no cost. Then data transferred between S3 buckets in the same region. So if we have two buckets within the same region and we are transferring, there is no cost of transferring. It's all about transferring cost, not the storing. And the next is data transfer from an Amazon S3 bucket to any service within the same region. Again, like from transferring of data from S3 to EC2 or S3 to Lambda or any other service, and the vice versa. But in the same region, then again, there is no data transfer cost. Data transfer out to Amazon CloudFront, because here it would be using only the global network of AWS, right? Not the internet. And then I think it's Europe. Europe customers may request to reduce data transfer for eligible use cases. So these are the points where you are not getting billed. You should know these. Apart from that, this storage part we just checked, right? This is directly from the Amazon white papers that I'm showing you. Also, you would be charged based on the request, like when you were using the put copy. Okay, it means put means uploading the data or copying or some lifecycle rules to move data to the S3 storage classes. In that case, also you get charged. So I hope this is fine. We have more tabs also. So for security, so when we use encryption like SSC S3 and then SSCC, AMS, these are free. So feel free to check from the white papers if you want to even deep dive. But that is the main part which I wanted to show you, where you are not billed. Okay, let's move back to the slides. So next part is about pricing models for EBS, Elastic Block Storage. Again, I would prefer to check the white paper for that, because that would give us actually the latest information. So I've pulled it from the white papers now. So elastic block storage, again, because we are storing data here, so that would be, of course, more on which kind of EBS volume type we are using, and then also about how much we are storing, and then IOPS, because the more number of IOPS we are using, the more we are getting charged. So all these details are given here. So usually for general purpose, it's like $0.08 per GB monthly. And then depending on the IOPS. So first 3000 IOPS are free. Um, and then after that, again, there would be some separate bills. Then for the throughput, 125 megabytes free. And then after that, we have 0.040 provisioned Mbps over 125. So no need to remember these figures, but just to show you an idea, we know that cold HDD is the lowest, having the lowest cost. So you can compare it. It is 0.04 and here it is 0.08. So it's like half of it, right? Sorry, cold is actually 0.015. So it is quite low. So I hope this is clear. Based on the number of IOPS, the bill would vary. Again, if we are using the snapshots, so we have a different snapshots like point in time copies and
Excuse me.
uh, one second. Yes.
Ma'am, for magnetic, it is not written.
Okay, which one you're
Charges for
talking
magnetic
about? Magnetic.
in EBS. Yeah.
Can you see the option here of magnetic? Which
No, ma'am.
option you are talking about?
In storage at EBS, storage magnetic also there. It's not mentioned.
Okay. Um, where you have checked it, because magnetic is like again kind of, like we were using before, the hard disks and like the tape drives kind of thing. So I this cold HDD is actually is nothing but magnetic only, because these are the kind of huge hard disks.
Okay.
So so just they have used a different term here.
Okay, ma'am. I'll check.
Okay, sure. Thank you. So
Thank
any other questions on it? Okay, fine. So about snapshots, we were just talking like, of course, when we are creating snapshots, we are using the storage, so we are paying for them. And if we don't want snapshots, then we should delete those permanently, or maybe we should store them in some archive storage to avoid any extra cost. And then if you are knowing about incremental snapshots, it's like, um once you have created the snapshot, every time it would be incremental, means only the changes which are being done or the new part that has been added would be created as a snapshot. So in that case, you would be charged only for the changed blocks. So this is about the snapshot pricing. Okay, let's move back to the slides. And next we have the pricing models for the free tiers. So for free tier, um, I'm again pulling another window here. When people create the AWS account, it gives option for the free tier account. So free tier doesn't mean that everything is free, but yeah, we get some services with a particular kind of usage or maybe a limited usage on which we are not built. That is what the free tier means here. Now, if we check on the main services, that is like the compute, storage, and database. So free tier means for a compute, it's 12 months free, right? So for the 12 months, per month, 750 hours, that would be free when if we are running our EC2 instance. Okay, then for the first 12 months, every month, 750 hours would be free of cost. Again, 5 GB of storage on S3 would be free for complete 12 months. For RDS, 750 hours. So if it is running more than that, then of course you would be billed. In the same way, DynamoDB. So 25 GB is always free. So when we talk about the free tier, it has different variations. Either it's like a 12 months free, or like you can see always free. Means 25 GB would be always free, even if it is being used for more than 12 months also. That would be always free. For SageMaker, it is a free trial option, like 2 months free trial like that. For Lambda, it is again always free, so up to 1 million free request per month. Okay, so that is enough to know. because we know in AWS so many services are there. If you wish, you can check more on that, but this is enough to know about how the free tier works and what kind of offer it gives you. Next is AWS pricing calculator. Now, AWS pricing calculator is a free tool available. It's an open source tool. Anyone can use it. And now this tool is used for cost estimation. So if any company is planning to migrate to the cloud and initially they want to estimate the cost, as an example, might be they are using the physical servers of some particular configuration at their on-prem, and they are planning to migrate to the cloud. So a kind of cost of estimation, like how much they would be billed if same kind of servers they're going to use on the cloud. So for such cases, pricing calculator is used. We can export those estimates, we can share them, we can download them in kind of CSV files. Also, some use cases which in which it would be quite beneficial is like, because it gives us the option of configuring. So like if we are using EC2, we can opt for different pricing models, different configurations to get the appropriate cost. So all that we would see in the demo part in detail for the pricing calculator. So this part we will check how it works. First, we add the services, then we configure them with the complete details. That is about the size of the model, and then the duration, and then the pricing model which we are using. Based on that, it gives us the estimate. So that is we are going to check in the tool itself. So we have just 2 to 3 more slides, and then we would see a demo on the pricing calculator tool. How to reduce the bills, different ways to reduce the bills. So this all comes in cost optimization. Usually when companies they are using the cloud, um, actually they hire experts, or maybe they train someone in their organization itself, uh, who would be getting expertise in cost optimization. If you have heard of FinOps, which is like finance operations kind of thing, so those kind of profiles also relate to cost optimization. Now, different ways. So usually, like identify the Amazon EC2 instances with low utilization. Whenever we are using the servers, the instances, it it is always recommended to keep on monitoring, to keep on identifying any instances which are like low utilized or sitting idle, and then maybe stopping them or reducing the size of it. Identifying the EBS volumes, which are again low utilized, or might be if they are not being used much, then creating snapshots for them and then removing those EBS volumes, right? That would help in reducing the cost. Analyzing the right and optimized storage tier of S3. So that would help in reducing the cost. If we have the archive data which is hardly used, then or hardly accessed, then it is always recommended to use the Glacier service. So those kind of for RDS, again, it's like the relational database instance. So maybe reducing the size of it or stopping it, pausing it would help in reducing the cost. DynamoDB. So for DynamoDB, reducing the cost, how? By leveraging auto scaling or on demand based on our requirement. So in case of DynamoDB, actually we are not creating the servers by our own, right? So it is everything taken care by AWS. Next, we have for the load balancers. So identifying the ideal load balancers and then deleting them. Spot instances recommended wherever possible, wherever we have the flexible applications which can stop and start again. So go for the spot instances. Then modifying the EC2 auto scaling group configurations. Maybe you have created the auto scaling groups which are always, creating the instances of type X large. You have used a template that are actually creating the instance of X large. So you can check those configurations and then modify those templates. Use of reserved instances, and then using the compute saving plans. So compute saving plans also helps in reducing the bill. In compute saving plans, actually we commit the cost, and then based on the application workload, AWS itself allocates the appropriate EC2 instances. And then the cost which we have committed, we get a discount for that cost. Any questions here before we move forward? Please let me know. Please put on the chat. Any questions? I would be happy to see replies on chat. Yes or no? Okay, thank you. So that give me a feeling that you guys are listening. If no response means it doesn't comes with that feeling that people are listening here. Okay, so I think this is the last slide, which is about the AWS cost optimization. And it is almost the same thing which we just discussed. Choosing the right pricing models, and you would be evaluated in the exam against the cost optimization. So you must be knowing now based on the scenario whether it's like the high peak loads or unpredictable workloads or the short term where no commitment is needed, then go for the on demand. If it's for a long term, like 1 year, 3 year, then go for reserved instances. And if there are the cases where your applications um, can tolerate interruption, then go for the spot. Always think of choosing the right size of instances. Okay. Stopping and pausing the instances wherever needed, and then use of auto scaling in on demand, and then implement the processes to identify the waste resources. So for this, we can take help of AWS Trusted Advisor as well, because that tool also helps us to find out the ideal resources which are sitting or the low utilized resources. So through that also we could able to find and eliminate those resources. So these are the ways of cost optimization. I think it is like quite easy and helpful, because we have discussed the same thing with during the multiple slides as well. So now let's go with the demo on pricing calculator. So let's have a look on that. Here is the window. I am pulling it. Yes. So let's check how we use this tool. Here also they have given here. You have to add the service, configure the service, and then view the estimate. It's so simple to use. So let's create one estimate. Create an estimate, and we are going to choose a region here. Okay, let it be default US East. and then find the service. Let's start with EC2. We can add more services later. Let's start with EC2. So I'm going to configure the EC2. Now, once EC2 is selected, we can think of different configurations. So like tenancy, share, dedicated, instance, dedicated host. But most of the time we go for shared. So let's go with the shared instance. Operating system, we have all the options here. Okay, let's go with the Linux. Now workloads we can try. So as of now, if I don't modify anything, let's see what happens. If I go with the constant usage, constant means like I needed, the kind of steady workload. If I go with this part, with the one instance itself, I'm just showing you if you go with all the default things. So it's already showing me the lowest cost EC2. So based on my inputs, it's showing me T4G.nano. So already it is showing me the cost effective way. So T4G.nano. And if we scroll down, it has selected the option of two virtual CPUs and then zero point 0.5 GB. So everything at a minimum. And then payment options. So see, reserved for 3 years. It has selected itself as a compute saving plan reserved for 3 years. And then no upfront. So what I'm getting here is as a as my bill is, it's like monthly cost is 1.53 USD. If we click on details, it is showing here compute saving plans. Okay, 1.53. Now let's modify some things and then check how it changes. So as an example, instead of constant usage, if I go with the daily spike, so daily spike means like I'm not using any reserved thing now. And see, it was 1.3, now it is 2.3. It has changed to 2.3. Again, in that case, uh, might be instead of T4G dot nano, let's go with T3 dot nano. And you can see the difference. It is little high with the on demand, and now the amount is 2.86. So I hope this makes sense. The way we are configuring, it's going to change the things. Might be I am using here on demand, but not the saving plans. So as of now, it is 2.86. And if I click on demand, it is 3.6, right? So I hope this is clear. Let's assume that, okay, we are using on demand and this T3 dot nano. If we wish, we can change this part also. So we have like two virtual CPUs, but if we want something more, then we can change that as well. Like maybe I want the four virtual CPUs and then maybe 4 GB, not zero point 0.5. Okay, let it be 2 GB. So in that case, it would vary. Let's see the other options like elastic block storage. So as of now, it is not showing any extra volumes. Might be only for the we have like for OS, which are the root volume, but enter amount of IOPS maybe like 100, and then the storage. Okay, here is the storage amount. So you can see the cost is varying. Now it is 5.22. So based on whatever need we have, we can get the estimation. Let's save it. So I have saved this now. And if I want, I can add more services. Let's think of adding another service like, let's go with RDS. So RDS supports all different data engines. Okay, I am clicking on Oracle. Let's go with RDS for Oracle. And it is showing me 419 as of now. 419 USD. So RDS is quite expensive to use. Now, it is using R5X large, but might be I can go for some other version. See here, virtual CPUs as 48. That's why it is okay. It's for the 12 XL large. Let's go with the M5. So now it is 310. It will reduce with the cost. So I hope you are clear with that. Based on our requirement, we can select, we can configure the resources. Let's check if it is showing us like reservation and all. It is not giving the option for reserving and everything. Like, okay, let's click on save and view the summary. So if I added two services, it is showing me the total cost for the 12 months. Okay, EC2 and RDS. And with that, I can export this in any of this format, like the CSV format, I can export. It's going to download to my system. If I want, I can share this also. And here is the link. I can copy the link, copy and save the link. Yes. Let me check if I copy the link and put in the chat. Let me check. Are you guys able to access it? Can you try once? I have shared this link. Can you try opening it? Is it opening at your end? If it's opening, it means that, yeah, publicly we can share it with others. Okay, I can see the answer. It's opening. Yeah, so this is the purpose of pricing calculator. That's all from my side. Any questions on this tool, how to use it? Okay, Jadev, I would come to your question. Before that, let me ask two others. Any questions on this topic?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so this is very easy to use. You can use from your side also, pricing calculator. Try to the website is calculator.aws. So try to explore, try to configure different options, and then you would able to find the estimates. Okay, now Jaydev has a question about difference between AWS cost optimization and then well-architected tool. Okay, in which there is a cost optimization pillar. Okay, so when we use the well-architected tool, actually it just gives us best practices or the recommendations. It doesn't implement the solution for us. So we use the architected tool to evaluate like, am I building the right architecture? Am I building the right architecture for the application? So it's all about like it. ask you for a lot of questions, and then based on the best practices, it gives answers to you. That is evaluating your architecture. Um, in the same way, in case of cost optimization pillar of this tool, it it just evaluate it, and then it is going to show you like maybe you are lagging there, or yes, it is not cost optimized, or some kind of recommendations. But if you are using the other tools like this pricing calculator, or as I told you, trusted advisor, again, it would be the kind of recommendations that would help you in finding out, like, are we using the services which are low utilized, and then we should remove them, or we should reduce their size, or think of the other tools like cost and usage report or cost explorer. So in that case, actually, we can implement the things, because think of like cost and cost explorer, right? There we get the region wise and service wise our expenditure, and that actually updates on a daily basis. So immediately we can take action there by seeing, okay, the price is increasing, or maybe um, I am running the instance of higher configuration and then it is getting built. So Jaidev, I hope you got your answer. Okay, thank you. Any more questions on today's topic? So today's topic was little like short. It's mainly about the pricing concepts, not very complicated. Okay, I can see not much questions as of now. And this is week 7 going on. So how is your course going? And then how about your modules, knowledge checks and labs? Like, are you able to manage with all the content till now?
Actually, ma'am, it is mandatory to complete all the labs which are not marks.
Which are not marked. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Um, it's actually not mandatory because they are not graded, but it's
Yes, ma'am.
recommended. So in case if you are finding that the time is less, then okay, first complete the graded one, but then please try to finish the other also, because that would help you in gaining more practical knowledge.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sure. So anyone who needs support, like might be you are lagging much, maybe due to some other reasons. Anyone like that who need maybe more support on completing the pending parts? No one? It
Ma'am, actually,
means,
after completing, excuse me, ma'am.
haha, haha, yeah.
Ma'am, after completing, we'll get any badges, like academic badges.
Okay. So, you are not going to get a badge, but I'm not sure. I think so. Um, it is actually more of the, the purpose is just to get you upskill at the associate level.
Yeah, but in this course, we
Um,
are enrolled with the academics or like it is start. Can you clarify that one?
okay, Rahul, do you have idea about it? Are they getting some badge after this?
Because in after enrolling in academic, they're giving batches also. So that is the concern. As you said,
Okay,
I think they will receive the graduate badge.
yeah, that is I'm asking
okay.
about it. very
Restart.
similar.
Okay.
Associate graduate.
Okay. We'll get that one. So after completing this course.
Might be, might be.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Actually,
I
one of
think
my
even
colleagues has completed in academics, so he got the batches also. So that's why I'm asking.
So he got
okay.
a associate level or restart?
No, no, associate in AWS Academy.
Academy. Actually,
Okay.
yeah. So
Yeah,
AWS Academy is different.
yeah,
Uh, Usually the colleges they get associated with the AWS Academy, and then
yeah, yeah.
when the college students they enroll, so they get that badge from AWS Academy. But this is different one. So I think as a confirmation, we still need to check and confirm on
Okay.
that
Mm, okay.
associate
Thank you, ma'am.
badge. Yeah, we would check on it. Okay, so Prashant has a question about checking the assignments. Okay, I would check on that. Just give me 2 minutes. And Lakshmi has a question on next week topic. So next week would be the last week, and last week would be the complete of exam prep. So next week we would discuss on about the different domains of architect exam. So usually it is into the 4 domains. We would check on that, and also we would practice few questions. Okay, and then we would discuss like how we are answering those questions. So mostly about just the exam prep and the practicing part we would do.
Ma'am, I have one issue.
Yes.
Ma'am, I am doing the lab of hybrid storage and data migration.
Mm-hmm.
So when I done the lab, follow all the steps, all the tasks, and I done the lab. But whenever I click on the grades, the grade is not showing. Just zero grade is showing. So I mail that, but ma'am says you check once time and check availability zone and your region also. So I check that and I done after I done all the steps one more time, and also I get the same error on grade.
Okay, hybrid storage part. Did you check in the known issues?
There is no issue is there. I check that.
Okay, let me check on it. So
And
there
in
is
mail
a
I
known issue.
attach shot also, so that you can check that I completed or not.
Okay, like you were telling about your email.
In inbox mail, yeah.
No, I'm not getting. Please come again.
What, ma'am?
Can you please come again? Do you have sent somewhere?
Yes, ma'am. I have sent in message. Rohan, my name is Rohan. And I have sent in message.
Okay, message means what?
He-
Like in the email?
yeah, at 5 February.
Okay,
Yeah.
hybrid storage and data migration.
Yes.
Okay, so it means you have submitted, but it is showing grading as 0.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, I'm just seeing it. Anyone else who is facing the similar issue with the hybrid storage and data migration lab? Like the grading part, anyone facing the grading issue? Okay, so Rohan, for you, I'm just checking the grades as well.
Yes, ma'am.
So no one is replying. Anyone who is also facing the issues similar like Rohan about the hybrid storage and data migration lab grading issue. Okay. Um, Prashant, I have unblocked you, so you can proceed forward now. Rohan, sorry, Rohan, I have unblocked you. You can proceed forward.
Okay, okay.
Yes,
Thank you, ma'am.
sure, no worries. Okay, so Lakshmi is asking for any practice test. See, from the course perspective, next week we are going to practice few questions. If you need separate practice test, then one is to check from the skill builder, AWS skill builder portal. On that, you can just log in and then you can find out. Let me share my screen. So everyone, you can just check on my screen. That would be helpful to you for your exam prep. And I'm just opening the AWS skill builder. You have to log in onto the skill builder. Have you ever accessed before skill builder? Okay. If not, then you should do it. So this is a kind of resources available for learning from AWS itself. And there are a lot of free resources also available. You have to log in. If you have never logged in before, then directly you can use your skillbuilder.aws. So here you have to sign in. So I'm doing sign in now. My account is already there. So it is the AWS Builder ID that it creates on this portal. And here we can search for all the resources. So like we want to check for the solution architect. Now they have one mock practice paper, which is like the 20 questions. It's free of cost. You can access that. Uh, Create to sign in. Also, it has a free of cost 4 hours course, and in that course, they have covered questions from each of the domain. So they run through all those questions. Sorry, I clicked the wrong button. It's taking some time. Actually, I don't have to create it. Sign in. Let me put the password. Yeah, so this is the dashboard, learning dashboard, and I am showing you here. See, this is one course, Solutions Architect Knowledge Badge Readiness Path. It's a big one, like 52 hours, 52 hours course. Here you get knowledge badge as well. Okay, it's for the solutions architect. Apart from that, I will search here, I will type here solutions architect, and let's see what all options we get. So all these are free of cost, like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. We can filter the language like it is showing here, Italian and like Indonesia, Chinese, Portuguese. So let's filter the language. If we just want to see the English one here, let's filter it. And then, so all these are more relevant to the architect. It is showing the architect services. To be more precise, if I search here exam prep, Now see this one. Standard exam prep course, solutions architect, 4 hours. Okay. Now this is good. You can check on it. This is another one, which is exam prep, and it's like official practice test. So 20 questions. You can practice this multiple times. We have other courses also available, but as of now, to focus on the solutions architect. So this is one resource which you can think of. Apart from that, if you want more questions, then Udemy is a good option. Udemy, and then feel free to, like, it is not free of cost. You have to spend some money. Their practice papers are there from Stephen Marek or like Dojo tutorials. So you can think of that for practicing the questions. Uh, One more resource I am showing you. It's from YouTube. And if I type here, solutions architect, uh, there are particular YouTube channels. So this is a good one. I'm showing you here. If you wish, I can share the link. Now this person has actually a series. You can see the whole series is there. But all these are not free of cost. But I think up to 4 series. Up to four, it would be free, which you can access. And then every series has 10 questions. So at least first four means 40 questions till you can get free of cost. So you can try this. I'm sharing the link. Okay. At least the one which are free, you can check those. He has nicely explained the question, all the options, why the one is incorrect and why it is correct. Everything is there. So just feel free to access that. So I hope this would be helpful for everyone for exam prep, skill builders, Udemy, and then some resources from YouTube. Any more questions? Okay, so for accessing the
Excuse me, ma'am.
Canvas LMS, just 1 minute, yeah. Harish has a question on accessing the Canvas LMS. So that would be 8 weeks. Till 8 weeks, it means one more week when you would be having the access to the labs and the Canvas modules and the slides. Till 8 weeks. Yeah, someone is asking the question.
Ma'am, is there any criteria to join AWS Community Builders? Can you guide us? How can you join?
Okay, for community builders. So the first criteria is writing the blogs. So you write blogs like you have medium.com. On such platforms, write the blogs and then publicize them, um, make it access to public. share it on the LinkedIn. So blog writing. Apart from that, if you are working on some projects and using AWS services, so showcase them on your GitHub. You can create a GitHub repositories and then showcase your project work using the AWS services. So these kind of work matters. And then also about like being more active or attending the AWS conferences, webinars. So these kind of information they actually ask when the application comes and then you have to fill that. This would help you in getting that community builder up.
Oh, thank you, ma'am.
Sure. Okay, one question from Jaidev in the chat about cost, like a company want to migrate from on-prem to AWS. So when the question is of like that company wants to migrate, so still they are at on-prem, they are not on cloud. So in that case, pricing calculator that we have used today, that would work, right? Because you're going to use that tool. It's for cost optimization. The company is still at on-prem, planning to migrate or want to migrate. And the other scenario is company running some services in AWS and have services some on the one second, and some services on their data center and have a hybrid connectivity. So, Jaidev, first part I understood from your question. The second part that you have written, it's like when it is hybrid model, and then the question is asking about what? Cost optimization or cost estimation or what? For cost optimization. So some services in AWS and some on data center and have a hybrid connectivity. So you mean the question asked is like when it is hybrid, how to do cost optimization? Is that your question? Yeah, that I got. Direct connect, hybrid model, that I got. So in that case also, the services that you are running in AWS, for the cost optimization, you will see the trusted advisor or um, the cost explorer, where it gives you detailed cost and usage report or cost budget. You have the budget tool also, AWS budget. That would help you in like limiting your expenditure, and then it would give you alert if it goes beyond that budget. But not pricing tool will help here. Pricing tool will help only when it is still at on-prem, not on the cloud. Okay. Okay, fine. So we are running in office hours. Any questions? Any more questions? Great. So I think no more questions. Next week would be exam prep. So this whole week, it means from tomorrow till the next Thursday, try to utilize your time revising the concepts, practicing some questions, and then next week we would solve some questions together. Also, we would analyze some tips and tricks to answer the questions, right? So just utilize your time for revising so that we would have a good outcome when we would do the practice paper next time. Great, then, all good, and that's all for today. So have a great night, and then have a good weekend, and then see you next week. That would be the last session for us. Thanks, everyone. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Good night, ma'am.
Good night.